This meeting is being recorded.
Hey everyone, so if you don't know me already, my name is Michelle Vinakurov. I am an autistic blogger of my own blog website, The World of Autism, and I've been doing a whole guest series where I feature people on my blog website since 2020 with COVID and everything, even though my blog website has been out since 2019. But besides with sharing my own experiences living on the autism spectrum, I allowed people and from the community raising their voices and sharing from their perspectives, including from parents, therapists, teachers, you name it, that I featured on to share from their perspectives and their resources and everything, because I feel like the community should be everybody has the right to access resources, and that's what I do that's part of my mission of my website. So I have on today Christine, who is the CEO of SpedEd. Christine, how are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you, Michelle?
I am doing well. So I wanted to dive in with you with a little with yourself, and I know we've chatted before this about yourself with your children and everything, especially about with your experiences of having children with multiple disabilities, and your fight and everything. So I kudos to you for everything that you've been doing for your own
kids. Thank you.
And just, and now I just want to really go into more about what SpedEd, because I did check out your website and it has a ton of resources. So I thought it'd be good for you to share that here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So so it's Sped Connect, right? So you're connecting special education and regular education and all of the resources and everything really parents need that they don't know they need when their children start getting diagnosed, or even if they start having concerns, where do you go just to even start kind of getting yourself grounded or needing to know what you need. So I started the Sped Connect so that parents can actually have a place to organize all of their information, find resources, find providers, find peers in the community. And there's going to be so much more really as we build it out. So we're really excited to offer that to parents. It's a solution that doesn't exist. It even has a tracker for all of your meetings, all dates and calendar tied in, because we know how hard it is, right? When you're just trying to manage, your children, but all of the educational, all of the, outside providers. It's hard to keep everything organized. It's also hard to find great providers. And so we wanted to make that a lot easier for parents.
Oh, absolutely. It's even keeping organizing it based on just with providers, or even just having resources to where they're let's say with attending IEP meetings or coming up with goals and everything. Because I'll tell you with myself a bit, I have experiences working directly. I actually work directly in a public school district here in Florida. I work as a behavior specialist. So I'm helping out coming up with a lot of behavior goals for students and coming up with behavior intervention plans. And I'm always fighting to keep kids in whatever they're at, or finding them an appropriate classroom placement, because it just, depending on students' individual needs and everything. So, having those resources is just so important. And especially a lot of parents don't know about it. So it's great that you are coming up with that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. We're still in our funding raise right now, but we've been working on it, and it's so seamless for parents. It's going to be so easy. It's just going to be an extension of their life that they never knew they needed.
Oh, absolutely. We always need that additional extension in terms of what's going to be helpful in the long run.
Yeah.
That's what we all need that for our own success in life. So I definitely appreciate that you are doing that for all the families and stuff. And I know earlier before recording and everything, we were chatting about how difficult it's been for parents to even navigate the special education services and school districts. I know
it's so hard because again, parents don't know that as soon as you get a diagnosis, that's the door you're knocking on. You
Mhm.
know, you are going to them saying, okay, how are you going to, let's get an IEP for my child. That can start as early as, 2.5, 3 years old.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what happened with my own journey and everything. My parents got my diagnosis early on, like right about when I was turning 2 years old. I got it very early on, which is very rare to hear that much. Like back at my time, it was so rare to hear of girls getting diagnosed with autism that early on. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it makes a big difference. It really does.
Oh, it does. And then, parents feel empowered to make sure that once they realize there's actually this beautiful law called the IDEA that is actually here to make sure your child, gets all the things, has all the things that they're entitled to.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more with you about that. And I really hope that with Sped Ed Connect that's going to help parents a lot more to be able to fight for those kind of services for even their own children.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just knowing how to ask for it. Like you need to put everything in writing, right? With your child's name and date of birth in the email. Why? So it ends up in their FERPA file. There's like little things so that way you can keep a record of it. But I'm changing that so parents actually will have all of their communications there too. Just so they can look back and say, hey, we decided this, where is this? Or, what have you.
Yeah, having those proof of what you wrote, like for parents, like they write themselves, like documented, like always have that proof because
Don't assume it's going to end up in the file, right?
Yeah.
And they're all, it's this is to help the districts ultimately, right? So because you see the biggest, on top of the children not winning and not succeeding, then you have teachers, right, that have dedicated themselves and they're burning out because they're not getting the resources, or their kids aren't being identified when they know they should be, right? They know what child find means, and that it has to feel awful at the end of the day, knowing that the kids are there to help. You can't help because you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to raise the flag. Not all kids get into RTI, or some kids stay in there for a lot longer than they're supposed to. And parents don't know that that's a max of like 20 weeks. So my daughter was in RTI for like a year and a half before I even knew. So this is in the beginning when I had no knowledge.
Yeah, that's why and this actually brings up like a really powerful message, is that for school districts and like a whole team, when it comes to impacting one individual's life, that there's got to be open communication with each other. Like there's got to be like constant communication going on with regards to the services, and having a plan to even fade out the services, because that's what I do as a like for what I do as a behavior specialist. Like my goal is to fade out these services.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing. Like eventually, obviously we want to get the services for the child first too, once right after they get a diagnosis or evaluation. But obviously we gotta always have a plan of how we're gonna fade out eventually, because that's the true goal, is to be able to, for a child to be as independent as they can be based on their individual needs and everything. So I think that's just like the message that we have right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was, honestly, I think that was a great way to even just wrap up with this, because
Yeah.
we're always just advocating and fighting for all children and students and adults that are neurodiverse. So I do want to thank you so much, Christine, for sharing with your experiences. And I'm people, please make sure that you check out for more about what
So Sped Connect.
Yeah,
So it's spedconnect.io.
perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And I will have a blog post section that's going to have with all that on there as well for people to check out. So everybody can check that out, and people can check to follow and subscribe to me at Self Advocate MV. That's my username handle on all social media platforms, and my professional name online is Exceptional Shell. I've had that also since 2019. That was just like the year of when it all started for me. So make sure that everybody follows and subscribes to Exceptional Shell on all social media platforms and my blog website, The World of Autism.